Today's lecture is lecture number 3, and it's about knowledge management strategy. Today's lecture is about knowledge management strategy, and the first topic is about explaining the link between knowledge management and strategy formulation. Strategy is basically a plan of action that is designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. It is a perspective, it's a vision, and a direction. For example, if you want to improve customer retention in your organization, for example, you want to improve your customer service, or you are going to introduce a new product. For that, you have to design a whole plan for it, that how you are going to do this. This is known as a strategy, basically a direction. After that, we have strategy formulation. It is the process of using available knowledge to document the intended direction of a business and the actionable steps to reach its goal. It's a process that is used for resource allocation, prioritization of organization-wide alignment, and validation of the business goal. Means that you choose the most appropriate course of action for the realization of organization goals and objectives. From different strategies, you work on the most accurate strategy and start working on it for the strategy formulation. What makes a good strategy? A good strategy addresses the right challenges and is executable. In this, you identify the right challenges, determine the strategy's long-term efficiency. And for a positive strategy, the three key elements consist of goals, in which you have the objective, targets, inspirations it serves. The second is metric. It is a way. Metric is basically a way in which you track your progress towards the goal, that where you are going, how much effort more is required. And action is the specific way you choose to make that progress, that what is your final plan, what is you going to implement. So for implementing a good strategy, you have to keep three elements in mind, that are goals, metrics, and actions. The bigger your organization is, the more complex its competitive strategy can get. So you have to categorize your strategy elements according to these three pillars, and detect that which category needs specific attention. Is it clear to you till now?
Yes.
Now we have strategy formulation. It's a five-step process. Before forming any strategy, you have to go through these five steps. The first step is you understand your strategy level. Depending on the size of your organization, you might need to formulate different plans to each level of management. That's why you will be able to make strategic decision in line with the relevant content. For example, your resource allocation decisions are very different at your corporate level, where your approach business units as a portfolio. Then when you formulate a business level strategy, you might have to shift significant resources to pursue a certain opportunity that will strafe other businesses units. And before you understand your strategy level, you have three different levels for it, that is corporate level, business level, and functional level. It depends upon your size of your organization or the type of the business you are running. Is it a private business or a government business? Next, you will conduct internal and external research. In external research is to achieve the best competitive position, you need to analyze your target market, competition, and the business environment you will operate, and gather your customers' insights. Whereas in internal research, you determine your struggles and your culture's most powerful positive drivers. Try any combination of the frameworks, like SWOT. You can use SWOT analysis, gap analysis, STORE analysis for this type of research. In external research, you will focus on the competitive position, your target market, and in internal research, you will focus on the culture and the struggles. In third step, you have to build the back plan backward. What does that mean? That every strategy strives to choose bold and ambitious organization objectives. So, however, ambitious goals demand aggressive actions. You will have to hit those goals if your strategic plan suggests conservative actions. So set those ambitious goals as high as you want with a respective deadline for duration. And if they are long-term goals, and then start building your new strategy backward. Break down your strategies into smaller time increments and figure it out with your skills and the metrics should look like during each interval. After that, you will set your milestone, ground your plan according to it, and implement that action. Fourth is review progress regularly. Strategy is iterative. It's not just like a planning and it does not end at execution. So you have to review it. Reviewing a strategy continuously and assessing the performance is a big part of it. So business intelligence too requires specialization and a great deal of time to be effective. And the last step is take the first step, means implement. In long range planning without short term action is a non sedative into failure. So most strategies never leave apart or start their engines because there were never only plans on how to do that. So start your engines by focusing on the first step. Don't let the strategy decision die out before you get to implement steps. And most importantly, the first one.
Yes, miss, I got it.
That was about the strategy formulation. Now we have to evaluate the ways in which knowledge management affect the human resource strategy. Knowledge management effect on human resource strategy. The knowledge workers, knowledge health organization to achieve their expected objective and it can successfully achieve only through proper human resource management practices. Knowledge is an intellectual thing and can't be fulfilling without the human brain. So knowledge management requires both effective and efficient information management skills and human resource management practices. From insurance and benefit information to the company's policies to onboarding and beyond, human resource organization are the keepers of the some of a company's most vital information and the information employees most often need access to. Human resource management is relatively a new approach in which you manage people in an organization and people are considered as the key resource in this approach. They are responsible for maintaining good human relationship in an organization. In this we are going to discuss that how knowledge management has the effect on the human resource and how they are linked with each other and what is the effect of it on an organization. Define HRM is a function in organization that is designed to maximize the employee's performance in services of their employer's strategic objective. And it is concerned with how people are managed within an organization. It is the whole process that consists of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling of resources to the end to that individual and societal objectives are accomplished. Human resource management process has the four basic functions. First is acquisition. Acquisition function is concerned with the recruitment and selection of main power requirements for an organization. It is the starting point of human resource management function, and in acquisition is primarily concerned with planning, recruitment, selection, and socialization of employee. Means in acquisition, you focus on the hiring and selection of the employees. After that, you have second step that is development. This function includes training and development and the career development of the employees. The knowledge, skills, attitude, and social behavior of the staff are developed through different trainings. Okay. Once you hire the staff, you start providing them training and how they will work for the career development. It is the second step that is included in human resource management. After that, third step is motivation. Only training and development do not inspire employees to do better work. For this, they should be motivated. Motivation include job specification, performance evaluation, reward and punishment, work performance, compensation, management, discipline, and so on. It means that not only training is required for employee retention, You have to motivate them to work better and to be retained in your organization. Like you can provide them reward, you can provide them any compensation benefits to be motivated in the work and to be involved in the work. Last is maintenance. It is concerned with the process of retaining the employees in an organization. Obviously, when you start motivating your employees, they will be maintained in organization, they will be retained in your organization. This function includes providing the best working conditions for employees. It also looks for the health and safety of the employees. If you work on the benefits of your employee, like their health, their safety, the compensation benefits, then they will be retained in your organization and they will be maintained in your organization. So these are the four key elements, four key functions of the human resource management. Clear?
Yes, I got it.
Now we have operational functions of human resource management strategy. There are five operational functions of human resource management strategy that are manpower planning, recruitment, performance management, training and development, and staff relationships. In manpower planning means that how you are going to hire the staff, who will conduct the interviews, what is the job description for that. In recruitment, you appoint them, you select the employees, and their probation period starts. In performance management, you include the motivation, performance appraisal, promotion, guidance and supervision of the employees, and addresses the poor performance. Whereas in training and development, your on-job training, off-job training, what type of training you're providing to your employees. Staff relations include securing staff's commitment, addressing the issues, welfares. These are the operations function of human resource strategy. How we link human resource management with knowledge management? So the entire knowledge management concept centers around the human resource, as knowledge is created and consumed by human mind. While different technologies are used in creation and dissemination of knowledge, but these technologies are handled by human only. Therefore, it requires adequate development of human resources for knowledge management. And for knowledge management, knowledge workers should include the following angles. The first is cultural adjustment. The staff has to be trained regarding of sharing the knowledge what they have. Some rewards and incentives should also be given for them for sharing and using that knowledge for the benefit of the organization. And proper motivation of knowledge worker is a major step in this regard. This initiative is essential to convert all the tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge for storing and sharing. And the second is coping with technology. As there are different versions of technology, and person who is used to one version of technology is found it difficult to cope with another on advanced version of technology. Like some people are very reluctant to adjust with changing technology. With proper training and motivation, we make them reluctant to similar with advanced technology so that they can also participate in knowledge management to the one technology. Next, we have leadership issues. The leadership issues in knowledge management is critical for its effectiveness. Knowledge managers are more suitable for leadership because as they have the skills, knowledge, and know how to organize knowledge management system that facilitate productive use of knowledge resources. So these three angles are very important for a knowledge manager in an organization, that he has a cultural adjustment and he know how to cope with any new technology, as the world is, as the technology is changing day by day, so you have to be able to accept the technology. And leadership issue means you have a strong leadership qualities for accepting the what is happening in your organization, expecting the new knowledge in your organization. Okay, next we have human resource management and knowledge management strategy. The core business of the human resource function is to develop the employees in accordance with the business strategy, select and hire people, train and develop the staff, evaluate their performance, reward them, and create a culture of learning. This table represents that how human resource management practices align with the knowledge management strategy. Like in human resource practices recruitment. So with the help of knowledge management strategies, you can use job testing, psychometric testing. You can express the JD of your job and how to fit that knowledge sharing culture in your recruitment. Like in reward, varied rewarding for people for documenting knowledge, following certain routines, using technology and volume of data. Me with the help of knowledge management strategy and human resource management, you can codify your explicit knowledge. In performance management control, you have result oriented, short term, and specific goal. In training at start, specific skills, implementary, single loop, and learning. Whereas ongoing board skill, inventor mentality, double loop learning. And designed behavior outcomes is documenting knowledge, low risk taking, specialization, and effectiveness. Whereas in personalize of basic knowledge is taking exchange of ideas and cooperation of innovation. The role of human resource management in knowledge management. Human resource can play a several role in developing knowledge management strategy and organization. For example, human resource help an organization articulate the purpose of knowledge management and be a knowledge facilitator means to create proper environment of using and developing knowledge in an organization. Be an experience creator means to build employees skill competencies and careers mainly through education training and development responsibilities. Be a knowledge sharing entity to popularize effective knowledge sharing it in daily life in an organization. Knowledge sharing must be expected, recognized, and rewarded. Be a champion of the low-tech solution in knowledge management, although it should not be ignored the high-tech knowledge management tools. For the transformation of basic knowledge into explicit knowledge, mainly through education and training of employers. And last is promote innovation and creativity. So human resource has the following roles in knowledge management. These are the basically the benefits of human resource management in knowledge management. Third, we have how knowledge management strategy can be implemented. For this, we have the core competencies of knowledge management program. A successful knowledge management program consists of the five areas. The first one is people. People, your program should increase the ability of individual within the organization to influence other with their knowledge. People rather than technology are the most important part of your strategy, and if you fail at this strategy, nobody will be interested. So means some question to ask to ensure that accommodate the needs and preference of your employees means you have to give priority to your employee, not to the technology, like who are your user, what are their demographic roles, and what information do they need every day, and how do they communicate or interact with each other, what they enjoy sharing and what not, and what are the information or functions roles within your organization. So you have to make priority to your employees, to your people. The second is process. The process you establish should include best practices and governance for the efficient and accurate identification, management, and dissemination of knowledge. Information drivers organization process means each step has an input and output such as an email or a document. Therefore, you need to analyze your process when you are developing your knowledge management strategy. And for this, you have to focus on the questions like what are the main business process for the organization, plus who are the business your unit, what are the process implemented, applied, or followed, and what are the gaps and how they can be improved. What are the process that actually followed, and are there any defined role and staff for each process step? So these are the questions that will be covered in the competency of consideration of process. Third is technology. The technology you choose should enhance how you configure and use tools and automation to enable knowledge management. Now you have a thorough understanding of the people process. You can explore the current technology stack. It's vital to get a comprehensive understanding of the existing system plus their life cycle status. Means that what type of architecture plan you are using, what is the infrastructure, what is the IT you are using, what is your preference technology, like are you using a Google Workshop or a Microsoft or any other open source, is there any access control plan for the entire technology ecosystem, what is the cost factors, what is there any license restriction in the technology or not. Next is structure. Structure means the content basically, as well as understanding organization process. It is important to analyze the structure, what is the identifying gaps and the content security and risk, and what is the missing or deficient in your process. So the organization structure should transform to facilitate and encourage cross-discipline awareness and expertise. And it focus on the that is your content fresh? If not, or if not, then what are the obstacles to keep it updated? Is it following a hierarchy or not? Who is responsible to give answer to whom? So these questions will be covering your structure. And the last is culture. The organization should establish and cultivate a knowledge sharing, knowledge driven culture for the long term success. And the company's culture shapes the employees' attitude and behavior towards capturing, managing, and sharing the information. For instance, does your company's culture encourage knowledge sharing? What is the what type of communication your employee is doing, is have you have your organization has a cooperative environment, are your staff is more likely to share or keep their intellectual property to themselves, or does your employee feel pressurized to maintain high utilization rate, and does knowledge sharing hinder or asset into that process. So these are the five considerations that you have to keep in mind for the knowledge management program. Next, we have prepare for implementation of the challenges. Implementing a knowledge management program is not an easy task. Even with the best planning, prepare to encounter and work around obstacles. So some challenges you may want to prepare for include inability to recognize or articulate knowledge, turning tacit into explicit knowledge, geographical distance and the language barriers into the international companies, limitation of information and communication technologies, losing defined areas of expertise, constantly changing business, internal conflicts like professionals, terror, territoriality, lack of incentives or performance management, goals, poor training or monitoring programs, and any cultural barrier. For example, this is how we have always done it mentally. So these are the challenges that you may be able to face when you are implementing any new strategy. Now we have 8 steps to knowledge management implementation, and this 8 step approach will help your plan for common challenges, minimize the risk, and maximize your reward. And this approach was developed based on tried and true activities for implementing any new organizational programs. The early steps emphasize strategy, planning, and requirements gathering. The later steps focus on execution and continual improvement. Okay, the first step is establish knowledge management program objective. Before you selecting a tool, defining a process, and developing workflow, establish the appropriate program objectives. You have to identify and document the business problem that needs resolution and the business drivers that will provide momentum and justification for the implementation. Means you document both short and long term objective that addresses your business problem and support the business drivers. Short term objectives should seek to provide validation that will right path, while the long-term objective will help you create and integrate the big picture. In second step, you prepare for the change. Knowledge management is more than just an application of technology, it's a culture change. Employers will likely have to rethink the way they share the knowledge they develop and possess. One common hurdle to increase knowledge sharing is that companies primarily reward individual performance. So, successfully implementing a knowledge management program may require change within an organization. So, to minimize the negative impact, prepare a manage cultural change in your organization and recruit knowledge management champions throughout your organization who will be able to encourage knowledge sharing behavior within their department and provide a valuable feedback to the implementation team. In third step, you have to define a high level process as a foundation. Laying out a high level knowledge management process is a key step for effective implementation. Beginning with a high level process, you will be help your progressive development and detailed procedure throughout the 4, 5, and 6 steps. Keep in mind that people who will be able, the user and contributor of knowledge should be part of this conversation. Common knowledge management best practices to consider in your plan means that that will include your knowledge strategy, the creation, identification, classification, uh, after validation of your knowledge. Fourth step is determine and prioritize your knowledge, prioritize your technology needs. It's time to access what kind of technology will enhance and automate your knowledge management related activities. So you have to gain and understand what employee use today and what is working and not working for them. But try not to be too quick to purchase a new technology without first determining if your existing technology are already meeting your needs. So you can also wait to make costly technology decision after the knowledge management program is well underway if there is broad support and the need for enhanced computing and automation. Fifth step is access current state. After you establish your program objectives, you prepare culture change and define level process. You determine what type of technology you need. You access the current. After that, you access the current state of knowledge management in your organization. This assessment should cover five core knowledge components, like that we have covered in the previous slide. That people, process, technology, structure, and culture. You covered these five components in this fifth step. Okay, that a typical assessment should provide an overview of the current state between the current and desired state and the recommendation for closing that gap. That what is your current state and what where you want to go, what is your desired state. After that, we have six step is that build a knowledge management implementation roadmap. Having a strategy on how to overcome the shortcomings will be critical in gaining leadership support and getting the funding you will need. So try to create a roadmap of related projects that addresses specific gaps identified by the assessment. And a good roadmap will yield some short-term wins in the first step of the project. As the time processes, continue to review and evolve the roadmap based upon the changing economic conditions. Seventh step is implementation. Implementing a knowledge management program and maturing the overall effectiveness of your organization will require significant personal resources and funding. So prepare your the strategic process and once you get the technology and processes that will be enable and launch your knowledge management from you will know the gaps and there is a roadmap to tell you how to address them. Through this you can be able to implement without any hesitation and without that your program may lose momentum and the support of your stakeholders. And the last step is measure and improve of the knowledge management program. When deciding upon the appropriate metrics to measure your organization's progress, establish a balanced scorecard that provides metrics in your area of performance like quality, complaints, value, what are the attributes you think should be covered. And the key point behind establishing knowledge management business scorecard is that it provides valuable insight into what's working and what is not working. You can then take the necessary action to mitigate compliances, performance, quality, and the value gap, thus improving the overall efficiency of the knowledge management program. Okay, that was all from today's lecture. Okay,
All
so
right.
you can leave now. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Okay. Allah Hafiz.